Here's what happens when cycling's biggest players clash over who gets to control the sport's future, and the gloves are officially off. The cycling world is witnessing an unprecedented showdown that could fundamentally reshape how rules get made in professional cycling. At the center of this brewing storm, a heated dispute between cycling's governing body, the UCI, Union Cycliste International, and SRAM, one of the sport's most influential component manufacturers. On September 20th, the UCI fired back with their second public statement, this time taking a markedly more aggressive stance in defending their controversial maximum gearing limit experiment. But here's where it gets interesting. The governing body didn't just defend their position. They went straight for SRAM's jugular, essentially accusing the American company of sabotaging the sport's unity. The UCI's latest statement represents a dramatic escalation in what started as a procedural disagreement, but has now morphed into a full-blown legal and public relations war. The Federation accused SRAM of undermining the necessary unity among cycling stakeholders, which is essential for progress toward a safer sport. Translation: they're basically saying SRAM is putting profits before rider safety. This confrontation erupted after SRAM took the extraordinary step of filing a formal complaint with Belgium's competition authority, challenging the UCI's proposed gearing restrictions that are set to be tested during October's Tour of Guangxi race in China. For those unfamiliar with cycling politics, this kind of legal challenge against the sport's governing body is virtually unheard of. It's like a football equipment manufacturer suing FIFA over ball specifications. But here's the part most people are missing. The UCI's tone has completely shifted from their initial response. When news first broke about SRAM's legal action, the governing body expressed genuine surprise, claiming they hadn't even been formally served with the complaint. Now, just days later, they've switched to full defensive mode, questioning SRAM's motives and painting themselves as the guardians of cycling safety. The Federation is doubling down hard on their justification through the gearing trial, insisting it's not just procedurally sound, but actively supported by the people who matter most, the riders themselves. According to the UCI, they developed this protocol through extensive consultation with SAFER, a collaborative body that brings together representatives from professional teams, riders, race organizers, and UCI officials. And this is where the controversy gets really spicy. The UCI claims that the CPA, Cyclistes Professionnels Associés, important nugget, this is actually pretty exciting. Essentially, the Riders' Union explicitly endorsed the testing during a Professional Cycling Council meeting on September 10th. They're also wielding survey data showing that a majority of professional riders supposedly backed the gearing restrictions when polled before the protocol was finalized. But wait, there's a plot twist. While we reached out to CPA President Adam Hansen for comment, some riders who have spoken about this issue previously have raised serious questions about how that survey was conducted and whether it truly represents rider sentiment. This raises a fascinating question. Whose version of rider support should we believe? What makes this entire situation so captivating is that it goes far beyond just gear ratios and technical specifications. At its core, this is a battle for control over cycling's future direction. SRAM, representing the commercial interests that drive innovation and fund much of professional cycling, is essentially challenging the UCI's authority to unilaterally impose equipment restrictions that could impact their business model. The timing is particularly intriguing. Why is SRAM choosing this moment to make such a bold legal move? Are they genuinely concerned about competitive fairness? Or is this about protecting their market position in high-end drivetrain technology? The UCI clearly believes it's the latter, and they're not shy about saying so publicly. This legal showdown could establish crucial precedents about how cycling's rules get made and who gets to have a say in that process. If SRAM succeeds in their challenge, It might empower other equipment manufacturers to legally contest future UCI regulations. If the UCI prevails, it could strengthen their position as cycling's ultimate authority, potentially making manufacturers think twice before opposing future rule changes. Here's what I find most controversial about this whole situation. Both sides are claiming to champion rider safety and sport integrity, but their actions suggest this is really about power and money. The UCI wants to maintain their regulatory authority, while potentially appeasing concerns about technological arms races. SRAM wants to protect their ability to innovate and market cutting-edge products without arbitrary restrictions. So here's the million-dollar question that's dividing the cycling community. Should equipment manufacturers have the right to legally challenge sporting regulations that affect their products? Or should governing bodies have unchecked authority to impose safety-related restrictions, even if the actual safety benefits are debatable? What's your take on this unprecedented confrontation? Do you think the UCI is genuinely prioritizing rider safety, or are they overreaching their regulatory authority? And is SRAM justified in taking legal action, or are they putting commercial interests ahead of sport integrity? The cycling world is watching, and your perspective on who's really in the right here could shape how this industry-defining battle unfolds.